Hello, Remaxers out there. Hi. Hope everyone's doing good. Thanks for being early. We have just a few minutes to go. We're going to go ahead and live stream this on Facebook too. And we should be in a good place. Just checking the sound and video on the back end here. Looks like we have a connection. All right. We are live on Facebook as well. So welcome to those of you that are on already. We have just a couple minutes to go and then we'll start right on time. I know I'm very excited to feature our special guest today, and she's thrilled to be here and probably knows a lot of you socially already anyway. So yeah, how are things in Tennessee today, Heather? What's going on for Memorial Day weekend?
I am headed down to Florida.
Ooh, good for you.
So I've had some stuff for the office that we're doing and just going to take like a little break. So
Good.
My daughter, that's all she wanted to do for her birthday, which was earlier this month. And she hasn't been down there since we moved.
Right.
Like 10 months ago. So we're going to go down there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Good.
So she can visit with her friends and I can visit with my friends and family and get some work done while I'm down there. Now that we're in the middle of this boot camp, I know my agents are itching to play with our green room, and we have 2 of them down there. So
okay, yeah.
I'll have my work cut out for me.
I know a lot of our INTEGRA folks, are a good handful of them were one of the lucky ones that got into the video boot camp.
Yeah, my broker she texted she was too late, and I was like, oh, I signed up day 1. I mean, it's my 3rd time, but every time I take it, there's always, I'm at a different level, and I just take apart something else about it. So it's always fun, and it's virtual, and it's kind of, I knew they would make it fun. So I was anxious to see how they made that work. For sure.
I think video editing, as we go through time and more apps get developed, it makes it easier for us as the end users, and it really streamlines it, because editing back in the day was ridiculously cumbersome. And you know, you and I have talked, Heather and I, you've talked about how we've taught ourselves a lot of things. We're very self-taught, but there's so much quicker and easier to do that. But anyway, we will, I'm excited, everyone, because I see that it's 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. So we are here for a very specific reason today. This is the Remax Building Your Business with Booj series. So welcome, everyone. My name is Michelle Hoyt, and I am a region trainer for Remax INTEGRA in the US region. And it's great to have all of you here. I'm going to let our special guest introduce herself in just a moment. But I just want to quickly say hello to everyone. Please take note of the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, as that is where we will encourage you to ask your questions to Heather. She has a lot to share, and a lot of you are here because of her, which is very exciting. So again, there's a Q&A box, and we're just going to keep monitoring that. So thanks, Anne, for verifying sound and video. And hey, Dan, how's it going? So Dan Bertelson's on. Thank you for supporting all of our webinars. You're always on. He's from Madison, Wisconsin, everyone. Good to see you. And it looks like we've got a building audience. So listen, I know everyone has a lot of Zoom webinars to pick from. Today, I had 3 going on at 11 o'clock that I signed up for, and I actually jumped on all 3 of them just to get a sample of each of them. So we do appreciate you being here. And we're happy to share all these best practices with you. This session is being recorded. It is being streamed live on Facebook as we speak on the Remax INTEGRA US page. This will be sent to you as a YouTube link in the next couple of hours. And then any follow-up items or links that Heather shares, we will also be glad to share with you in the follow-up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, because I have a very special slide prepared for our very special guest. And I'll be happy to let her introduce herself. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to turn it over to Heather.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here, especially talking about Booj and websites specifically. I am the tech and marketing coach at Remax Elite, located on the Space Coast of Florida, like Cocoa Beach, all the way down to Palm Bay. We have 5 offices, about 100 agents, and we got Booj back in August. Florida was one of the first. So of course I got to play with all of our agent websites. We just kind of have a form for them to fill out. We make them for them. And that was really how I was able to be self-taught on the different elements and how to work that. I've worked with multiple website platforms. This was my first time using what they call a WYSIWYG platform. Usually it's HTML, WordPress. You know, we have tons of, you know, different platforms that we use, but I have probably done over 200 sites at least. So I'm happy to share with you anything that I can. I plan on showing a couple examples, a couple of the blocks, going over a few of my top Q&A. But of course, in the question box, please, if you think of anything, feel free to put that in there so I can try to answer anything as we go.
Thank you, Heather. We're so excited to have you here today. I just want to show one last slide, and then we're going to, and I'm not putting this in slide mode just so everyone knows, there's something weird technically with Facebook Live that doesn't like slides. The screen goes dark. So I just want everyone to know you can have the best looking website in the world, and Heather knows this. And you could invest, whether it's a lot of time, resources, efforts into making it look the best it can look. But the thing about it is no one's going to find it unless you promote it. And there's so many key places that are free where you can advertise your website. So for instance, look at all these places that you might not have thought about where you should be adding your domain name. So all your free profiles that are out there, your Google My Business profile, you should definitely have a link to your website. So all of these places, as seen here, is all free. And one of the things that you may not realize is you see these images on the slide, these were taken from Photofy. So there's actually 2 images you can download, and they say exactly that. Check out my new site. People love the word new. So in yellow, it's showing you an example of what you might post on social media that says, hey everyone, I've been working on my website. Take a look at it. You can search for properties or ask me anything. Always include your cell phone number in that post, so when they're scrolling on their phones, they can click and call you. But this is just a sampling of what you can do. And there's so much more that you could come up with, but this is just, remember to put it out there, right, Heather?
Absolutely, 100%. Not only that, is when you have a new listing or you're promoting one of your listings, make sure that you have a call to action, like click here for more information or click here for more photos, and have that link. What I recommend to my agents is we take the long property site URL on your website, and we put that in the Remax URL shortener, and then we shorten it. Usually it'll be the rem.ax/. Typically I'll just use the MLS number to keep it short. It's easy to remember, so that way when you are promoting, if you're on your mobile, you'll know exactly what that'll be. But make sure that if you're promoting any of your properties or any pages, the seller guides, the buyer guides, anything that you're adding on to your social, it's so easy to be able to have the Remax URL shortener. Not only that, is it tracks. That's what I love the most. But as you're promoting your properties, that's also promoting your website, bringing people over there. Tons of them are going to be on mobile. That's why when we kind of go over the design element on the header, because it's a mobile responsive site, I see a lot of people do great customized work, but it'll go across the entire banner. It's a mobile responsive, so we want to make sure that it looks great on all platforms. But definitely all of your print marketing, I mean, you could use QR codes, sign writers, anything going to the property sites. Just, I like to use the Remax URL shortener because that way you have that tracking, and it's easy. But you're driving traffic to your website. That's what's important. I can't tell you how many agents, I'll say, do you have a website? And they're like, yeah. They don't even know what their domain name is, let alone it might have gone to an old site that doesn't even exist anymore. So it's not on their business cards. It's not on their flyers. It's nowhere to be found. It's a pet peeve of mine. My agents would tell you that. They know, like, it needs to be everywhere. I'm going to call them out on it if they don't. If I see one of their business cards and there's no website, it'll be like, what are you doing?
Right.
It needs to be everywhere. And I see a lot of agents, their biggest complaint is, I don't get any traffic on my website, or I don't get any leads on their website. And that's the first thing I can do. It's not on their business card. They don't have it on any of their profiles. Like, well, if you're not promoting your website, why would anybody even go to it? I mean,
Right.
it's really common sense, but this is really, I think of websites as like a pillar to your business. I like to provide local information, something that consumers can go to. Not only your sellers are going to be happy promoting your, your listings, but also a place for people that are relocating to the area. Having videos is ideal. So I'm going to show Tracy's website. She has a ton of videos, but having the information, when I moved from Florida to Tennessee, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about the utilities, electric, like who do I need to call for what?
Right.
Even Facebook groups. Facebook groups are huge. And that was really my saving grace, was finding the local Facebook groups. But even if you have a link, you should be active in those anyway.
Yeah.
There's just so many different things that I think as agents, we forget about thinking as a consumer. But I
Right.
believe that your website can be the pillar for everything from, finding that perfect property, setting up those alerts, but also after the fact, having that local information. My best blog every single year is just having that count, our school's calendar every year. As soon as it's released, I basically copy and paste. I don't have a link going to the school board. I
Right.
mean, I will, but I make sure that I just basically copy and paste that entire schedule for the school calendar. That's my number one blog every single year by thousands compared to any other. And I think, the 4th of July, the Christmas parades, I mean, you got to think local and have that information so that consumers always know, I'm going to go to so-and-so's website. It has all that information for me. So I think we need to think outside the box and also think hyper local when we're
Very
building out those
good.
sites.
And everyone, just so you know, Heather has some awesome examples of sites where those components have been built into them. You'll really like them. And I just want to make a couple quick points about this is that, first of all, Heather mentioned the Remax URL shortener. That is located in Max Center. There's an actual application that says Remax URL shortener. So you can take a long link or even your own website link and you can paste it into that platform or that particular app, and it will shorten the link, but also provide a tracking mechanism. You can also customize the name of it. Like I actually shortened it for this event and I called it, after the Remax part, I put build with Booj, so just added its own custom link, but take a look at that. If you have any questions on that, please, you can reach out to me directly or Heather, but feel free to email me through Zoom because you all have my contact info. I'm glad to help you with that. The second thing that's most important is when you drive traffic to your own website, that is your lead. Period. Doesn't matter whose listing it is. It doesn't matter if they've chosen a preferred buyer's agent on remax.com. This is your virtual storefront. I love the pillar thing, Heather. I'm going to use that. But I love that. So a virtual storefront, a pillar to your business. It's a gateway into who you are. And this is how they can see what you're all about. But because you drove traffic to there or they found you that way, that is your lead, no matter what. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Heather has a lot to share. And one of the things that the reason I knew of Heather, so first of all, it's interesting is I met her in basically running from one session to another in the hallway at R4 Lab this past year. It was the first time I met her face to face in person, but I've known her virtually for I don't know how many years. But Heather, and you've always been a great supporter of INTEGRA events. So Heather, how have you become so well known in the Remax network?
I think by going to as many events as I possibly can, whether it be R4 or BOC. I did get to go to INTEGRA, except then I got to go to the Indianapolis because I was a speaker, but then we had a hurricane that was hitting like that same day. So I got home at 2 a.m. The
Yes.
hurricane came at like 6 a.m. or my husband had to leave at 6 a.m. He's fire department. So that was a little crazy for me, but I go to as many, all the regional, anything I can possibly do. I go to a lot of those events. And I also think Facebook groups. So I had seen a need for, or I thought it would be cool to have like a referral network. It really just kind of started from my agents because of going to all these different events. My agents and other agents would call and say, hey, do you know an agent in this area or whatnot? So I started that. That kind of blew up into its own little entity in that. But then, we have the creative group and gosh, we have like 18,000 people in that group. I love it.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's all about marketing. And I absolutely love the people who just, start out just kind of taking people's posts and sharing it, which is completely fine. But I love it when they get inspired and then they feel the courage and like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own. And then they start sharing. So I have loved watching the growth of everybody in that group. And then this summer we started the Tech and Tools group because we started getting the Booj, and you know, we have the new Photofy and the Megaphone, and we have all these tools at our fingertips, and we really wanted to keep the creative group in a creative and marketing. So it's like, you know what, let's go ahead and start that, you know, a Tech and Tools group. So that way we can, I mean, they kind of all blend together a little bit, but we really wanted to have like the Booj and the CRMs and just that kind of talk. We thought it could use a whole nother platform. And we have like 7,700 members, I think, in there. So it's like completely different conversations. But as we started bringing Booj on, I could definitely, I just wanted a place for us to be able to encourage and share our sites and what we're all doing with the platform, because you only know what you know. And I think by all of us sharing the different ways that we're able to do things, and we have so many amazing trainers in that group that are just doing videos and just quick little tutorials. I absolutely love that. And that's why we have that space, is just to help each other.
It is. So for those of you that are thinking, how do I know the name Heather Holiday? She is an admin on virtually every one of those groups that she just mentioned. So very much for Remax, about Remax, sleeps Remax, and it's very much appreciated by the whole network. So you did mention that you've had Booj since last summer. So tell us how, and I know it's been difficult because we're kind of going through this right now, INTEGRA, and I know we have some folks from other regions on here, but those of us at INTEGRA have only had it really live since March 31st. So how have you been able to work through, because you had virtually very limited features when you first got it. How have you been able to work through the bugs and fixes and sort of keep it positive and see the potential of Booj?
You should be very thankful that you only just got it March 31st. But having that, you know, I was alpha and I was beta, and then we were the first in the network to really get it. I have also been able to see the progress based on our feedback, and that's been pretty awesome to watch. So you definitely patience, because yes, not all the features are there, or maybe they don't function the way, you know, like the social block, like everybody's wanting that social block. And right now it only shows Remax, but it is there because there are a lot of agents that aren't on social. So they're fine having the Remax feed. So that is why like that block is still there. We finally got the saved searches. So I've been playing a lot with that. There's different elements that they're constantly adding and enhancing. So even though, yes, in August, it was somewhat limited, I mean, we still had a lot we could work with, a lot. And I know INTEGRA, you guys have always had like a whole other slew of things. I think I was always trying to get you guys to buy Florida, but but as far as the rest of us, it is more than we have ever had within Remax. Even when we had the old like Reliance platform, it was not mobile responsive.
No.
So it was pretty much, it was great because it was free, but I wouldn't even pay $5 a month for it because it was not mobile responsive. And, you know, trying to get leads from that was, you know, virtually, it was hard because when I look at all of our analytics, at least 80+% are on their mobile device. So that is crucial. And that's why when they moved over to the spa sites, I don't know if you guys even had that, because you guys.
We did for a period of time.
Okay. But even those were better than as far as SEO, because it was still mobile responsive. So we were limited on what we could do on that. But now we have a mobile responsive, fully customizable site. So even though not all the features are there, you can still make a great website that represents you right out of gate, 5 minutes. Absolutely. And that's what I love about Booj.
No, thank you. So are you ready to share one of your first examples?
Yes.
Because I'd like you to talk through what your go-to marketing apps and design programs are that you use. So Heather's going to share. So Heather actually, and I'll let her speak more to it, but she also does assist with any Remaxers out there. I don't mean to, you know, speak for her. She can speak for her own services that she's offering, but she does an amazing job with all the different websites, and she has helped Remaxers around the country actually design their website. So if it's something you don't have time to do, there are resources right here in the network. So, so you want me to go ahead and share, or do you want to go ahead and share?
I'll go ahead and share.
All right, sounds good. I think you're all going to be very impressed. She has some really good examples to share with you, and then she'll kind of talk through what went behind those. And like I said, so Heather, I know that you are a big fan of Canva and other programs. Can you share with everyone what some of your favorite go-to apps are to prepare some?
I basically use Canva for every element that I have done on Booj.
Right.
So what I have in the tech group in the announcement. So if you're not part of the Remax Tech and Tools, I would say join. It's going to be the best way because you can search. We're trying to tag all of the conversations. So that way you can always see the conversations. I think that's somewhere up here.
Right.
So that way you can easily coordinate, but we have a lot of people doing the different lives and groups and videos. And under announcements, I have this, and it basically is going to take you to a Google Drive form, and that's going to have all of my templates. So if you do use Canva, it's going to be nice because you can just click on these links. And as you noticed, I used the Remax URL shortener.
Yes.
So I can track how many people actually click on those. But when you click on it, it's going to take you to allow you to put that template inside of your Canva. It already has, like for the headers, it'll already have like a little kind of a white space. That's just showing you where the mobile responsive, so that way you can, what you will be able to see on a mobile device. So it's just like a little area. I still, with customization, depending on each one, I still will have trial and error, but it may be, okay, I need to move it up a little bit. I may need to move it down. It just depends on how much design I want to add into it. Sometimes I may have like the person's face over, on the right or left, but I want their information is going to be in the center to make sure that that's visible among against all the different devices. So I have like a lot of people, when I first started, I created these little circle templates. And the biggest question is, how did you get a circle inside of Booj? And I didn't. It's just a square that I made a little round border and I slapped an image in there. But I'm kind of over the circles at the moment because I've done, like 150 sites with them, but they're still there because a lot of people liked it. I like that it kind of stands out versus all the other graphics in there. And I want it to be more of like a call to action. So you have the buyer guide, the seller guide, the home valuation. So that was really why I did that. And my office uses Real Geeks and we have those circles. So that was what even kind of gave me the idea to do that. But we have the different Booj headers. These are the sizes that I'm using for whether it be the slideshow, which is going to be your social graph. That's the social template. All the others have the search bar in the middle. So all of those other templates, and that is like a map search. The other Booj header, just kind of like a regular. That's going to be where there's more. I think, let's see, I was just talking, and I know everything is almost soon, but I think by the end of next month, we'll easily be able to change that header. A lot of people like the search bar in the middle. Some like the slideshow because people don't realize how much it darkens the photo. So if you are trying to add customization, that of course gets darkened as well. So and I'll show you 2 different websites so you can see that template. That's one of the top questions I've had.
Sure.
As far as like the little blog.
Everyone's asking if they're going to get this link to this afterwards. Yes, everyone, I will send this to all of you in the follow-up email along with the recording of this session. So Heather, thank you so much for sharing that with everyone.
So absolutely. And then I also have, if you click on that link on my website, I have, this is kind of like a cheat sheet as far as the different templates, because we're pretty much given like 4 templates. So you have like the modern, you have a video, you have the social, and you have the search. So it's just showing out of the box what elements are automatically already in there. So it's almost like I choose this template, I don't have to do anything, I step back, everything is good. And it's just showing you the different blocks that are in there. It also has the link to that Google Drive. I also have a ton of video tutorials. So in this first one, I recorded me from picking a template to hitting publish. And I think it's only like 7 minutes long. A lot of, I know the biggest question I get is, I don't even know where to start. When you go on to RU, there was a ton of videos. So there's like 100 videos and they keep adding more. But what I will show when you go over to Remax University, this is fairly new. So when you click on Booj, you get all of these and there's tons and tons of videos. Go all the way down to the Booj learning tracks. This is
Those are
new
awesome.
a couple weeks.
Yes.
This just kind of organizes it, makes it a little simpler. So it, you know, it's baby steps. There is so much that is in the entire platform. I think it's just baby steps. And for me, it's just making, you know, that header, making the colors kind of match to your what you like and what matches your branding. You know, it's not just the Remax, but it's, you know, do you have certain colors you like, certain fonts that you use? I mean, think about those elements when you're thinking about building the website. And also before building the website, know what the purpose of this website is for. If it's just to, you know, I need a website for someone to be able to find so that they know I have a website. You know, some people don't want the online leads, don't, you know, that's all they care about. That's easy. You pick one of those templates, add a pretty cover photo of a, you know, go over, like, you know, my office is close to the beach, so we have tons of beach photos. Slap that on as your cover, call it a day, you're done. Exactly. But if you're looking to add stuff that you can direct, you know, your current clients and stuff to be able to share on your social, adding new pages, definitely right now I'm telling my agents, go and take all those photos. If you have downtime as you're, you know, showing properties, taking pictures, the beach, you know, what all the different areas, we all know our secret areas that not everybody knows about. It's a local thing. So always be taking photos. And I'm also telling them to take at least 20-second clips of video, because we can do something magical with those as well. But at least
for sure. And just so everyone knows, thank you, Dan from Madison. He shared the Google Drive link in the chat box. So if you want to go ahead and click that open, so it's open in another tab that you can have immediately at the end of this. Thank you, Dan, for providing that.
Thank you.
So we have some questions coming through, but I'm going to go ahead. We'll get to those in just a moment. So please feel free to add your questions in the Q&A box. Some of you are using the chat box, so whatever works for you. But Heather's going to show you some awesome websites right now.
So this one is Tracy, and I believe she's one of your agents. She's absolutely loved. I mean, she knew, like, she had her branding kit, she had colors, she had the fonts, she knew what she wanted. So I was able to take her ideas and bring them to life. And so she has a website that matches what she has going on social and just everywhere. So I had a lot of fun with Tracy. It was the very, like, cool, clean, crisp line. So we have cover photos. This is the slideshow option. It's called the social option. And it's the only one that has the slideshow. And I did not know what the limit was for photos, but I think we added at least 20 for Tracy. So I don't think there's a limit. And I usually do about 5 or so, but I mean, whether you have area photos, you know, make them yours. There's so much that you can do with these. So it is a manual. So somebody would have to know to click that. But if they do, at least it's there. So then we have featured listings. This is the automatic featured listings slideshow. So you have a choice between a grid and this block. I kind of like this is more of the elegant. That's why I chose that. If you have a ton of listings, you may want to use like the grid. And now I absolutely love it because we can do our safe searches. And now we can do whatever we want on this homepage. It does not have a slideshow up. I mean, the slideshow is just a grid of, you know, like 6 boxes going across.
And there have been some recent updates to the featured listings block that, you know, that's coming, and you'll be able to feature either your listings, the office listings, or all listings. It shows the most recent 6, and I know there's been a lot of questions about that. So just
now you can change that, because the next website I showed, she's a heavy listing agent, and it was showing all of her pendings, lots, and it was not showing her $1 million listing. And that was driving me nuts because it was only showing the most recent 6. So I am super grateful because we had to kind of have a workaround to showcase that property, but
Right.
sure. Then we went ahead and added her social blocks. So we kind of made them custom to her using, you know, her logo so people can connect with her. She has a lot of video, so we were able to add like a little intro video. One of the biggest questions I get is right here on the profile. So I'll do a website and they're like, Heather, nobody's called me by that name except for my mother. And what is all this? And I'm like, I don't know. That's what your profile says. I don't make it up. You know, you put in bio, all of this can be edited within in Max Center. You click on that blue My Tile and you're going to go and click.
Right.
For Tracy, we've been trying to figure out how, like, none of her social icons and her website globe is not popping up. So we've been working on that all day.
Yeah, I think there's a glitch because I ran into that yesterday in a training. So it's been reported, but so just so everyone understands that there are some,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was losing my mind and I keep
No,
going in there and I'm like, I did everything.
it's not you. It's
No,
something
so I was
happening.
like, I don't know. Like some are okay. So that's good to know. And I figured I was going to give it a couple hours, and if it still wasn't there, then I would just, you know,
Right. Yeah. So
contact
Tracy,
out.
if you're
But
watching, it's not isolated to just you.
right, because that happens.
Right.
Um,
Oh, she is on. Hi, Tracy.
hey Tracy.
It's looking good.
Zillow. So you can have Zillow. If you have a lot of Zillows, I recommend, like, on your homepage to have the Zillow reviews pull in there. It's going to keep it updated, and the block is nice and uniform. When you have your manually updated testimonials,
Mm-hmm.
and you have one that's really long, it's going to have that much white space because now that entire block is going to be as long. So I would recommend shortening the long one and just get the gist of, you
Right.
know, just copy the goodies and having that. But I would also recommend, even if you have Zillow here, make sure to go into your manual reviews and add a bunch there, because those are pulling over to the Remax.com agent profile, not your Zillow reviews. So if
Right.
you just have your Zillow reviews, but you haven't added any inside of your manual, then it doesn't show that you have any reviews on your, when somebody finds you or does a search for you in Remax,
Yeah.
you'll get your agent profile, which is on Remax.com. And we want to make sure those reviews are on there. And so far, from what I've gathered, those are coming from your manual reviews. And always check that, because a lot of the older sites were Joe. Like that was, who's Joe? Because Joe's reviews are on me. And I think it was a guy, like an agent named Joe, had Remax was their username on Zillow. So all of those, and there's not all 5 stars. So make sure you don't have Joe in your manual testimonials.
Well, just so everyone knows, here's a little tip for you. The manual testimonials are not time stamped. And you know how most consumers like to see more recent reviews. So just a little tip that I've given in my trainings is, once you copy and paste the review from wherever it is, realtor.com or somewhere else, actually type in the date that it was actually done, and it will show up in the carousel of those manual testimonials. I don't know if that's an enhancement coming down the road, but for right now, the Zillow reviews are real time, time stamped, but your manual ones, you may have to just type in the date. So just a little tip for you.
Unless they're really old, then don't put a date.
Exactly. That's worse than having none.
Right. So I think on mine, like, you can change the title, and like on Zillow, you don't always get a name. So I'll put like buyer or seller,
Right.
for, you know, only because I don't know, and, you know, somebody could go back in.
Yeah.
But here's like where we did the seller home valuation buyer guide. Then we have a bunch of more of her generic videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we go over to like her seller's page, her seller's guide, or buyers, let's go to relocation, because that's where we added, you know, she did the 30 under 30. She's got some, you know, she was in Discover Wisconsin. So we make sure, like, check out the 15-minute mark, because we couldn't, even though on her YouTube channel, you can kind of mark it where you want people to start viewing it from. It
Yes.
doesn't allow me to do that on here.
Right.
So I couldn't put that after how many seconds or minutes. So it pulls in the whole video, but it's still a great video. And then we have the 30 under 30. This is the new carousel, which is full width. So you would have to go through and then you can see all the different videos.
Dude,
But if
that's
your
awesome.
area, I know some, you know, like the cities, the park and rec, like a lot of areas, they're getting into the video. So even if you go on and they have video, add it. I mean, because it's still, you're never just selling a house, you're always selling a way of life. And the best way to bring this in is on that website and of course on your social and everything else. But again, everything ties into each other.
It
So we
does.
wanted to make sure that we had all of that. This is kind of standard content. But another page that I had done for like my office is here's like an area. So you have a photo and Canva, you can almost always, especially if you're a pro user, now you don't have to pay for all of those pro photos.
Right.
So for the most part, I'm getting great photos in there. So I was just able to pull up a surfer. I mean, this is just something, you know, of the actual, like a drone, but that's like our photographer. I mean, have your photographer probably already has a lot of these photos. And I know we just kind of paid ours and we
Right.
have like all sorts of area photos that we can use. And most of it is for our website. And he made videos for us. So it's just like evergreen content that we can use, whether we're making videos on the area, whether we're using, you know, photos for our websites. But always think, you know, your specific cities, do a little write-up, pay someone to do a write-up. If you're not, I am not a writer, so we just kind of had somebody do a write-up, find all these different links, the parks and recs, utilities, all of that information. You want to add all of that as much as you can onto
Right.
all the different pages. Here is now, I'm super excited about being able to customize, you know, these kind of community pages or city pages, because I'm able to use that saved search feature. Here's like hot new listings. So these, when I did the search, I just used most recent is what I used for that city. I can click view on map. It's going to pull up a map search with the properties on the side. Or I have condos, or we could do it by price, or we could do it by my office, or we could do it. I mean, the sky, well, not quite the sky's the limit. It's still very basic, but we're able to add a lot of these saved searches now. And I'm just having a lot of fun playing with that part because it adds a lot to, now we can build out all of these city pages. And when you're on the home page, instead of it just going to a generic search, now it's going to go to a page with area information, area links, and a variety of different searches somebody could search by now that we have that save search feature.
So Heather, in looking at this site, and I know you're going to show a couple more examples. So this looks fantastic, by the way. So kudos to you and Tracy. One of the things we were going to talk about is if you had to pick on, like if we had to say you can only pick 3 content blocks for the homepage, what would be the bare minimum of that someone should have as content blocks on their homepage?
Well, if it's 3 blocks,
if someone wants to keep
does that include the header?
Does not include the header.
Well, obviously you need a header.
Yes.
Make sure I would try to make that branded to you, or even if it's just an area photo. I've done plenty where it's just an area photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, these are all in addition. Put in a saved search. So if you're a heavy listing agent, make sure your listings are on there, whether it be that slideshow or the grid. So make sure that's on there. Your bio and a contact block. And I think for the most part, you don't even have to do that. That's already there. And if I go over to
for out of the box content, yes.
It's already there.
Yeah.
So out of the gate, the only thing you have to do is pick the template you want. Do you want it to have the full header, or do you want it to have that slideshow? So if you wanted to have just the slideshow, you're going to click on that social template, which is so, and then just put in an area photo. So if I come over, well, it's a lot easier. Let's say I have a lot of pages.
Heather, while you're doing that, I created one quick poll question. Those of you that are on, I want you to answer this. I'm just curious how many of you have actually published your website. So I'm going to launch the poll right now. And if you could just let me know. So I've given you a third choice. You plan to, but you're still working on it. Looks like we're getting some good responses there. That looks good. Thanks, everyone. Because I know that I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of you that And Heather's doing an amazing job helping you figure, get to a place where you feel like you can start somewhere. And can you see those results, Heather?
I see the question. I don't see the answers.
Okay. So it looks like, thanks everyone who's already answered. Looks like we're leading so far. We're at 45% of you have published your website, 24 have not, and then 35% of you have said you plan to, but you're not done designing yet. So for those of you that are no, all these tips that Heather is providing is going to be put you in give you a better perspective on where to get started, because that might be where you're at in your mindset right now, or maybe you just haven't had time to work on it. But at least publish, use the out of the box content if that's going to help you as we go into the busy summer months. But for those of you that have already published, that's fantastic. It's going to be ongoing. You're going to have to update your website on a regular basis. But I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. It looks like 66% of you have voted, and I appreciate that. So that was really interesting.
Awesome. So I'm going to try to use, so I have not done this. Oh, there, I just see it now.
Yeah, I shared it with everyone. So
okay. So here is, let's see, the search layout. So if I come over here to edit, because it doesn't look like I ever touched that one. Right. This is out of the box, the search layout template, without me doing anything to it. I have this that has the balloon in the background, which is perfectly fine. There's not mountains. So, I mean, my office is in Florida. That wouldn't make any sense, right? So out of the box. Oh, I guess I did do some. So it has the featured listings. This is just the blog for Remax. It's going to constantly update as Remax is updating their content. I don't have to do anything. Then if you wanted to add, so I had added a video, the carousel. This is the social tweets or social for Remax. Yes. And then basically the block for contact me. So all of them will also should have, I believe, a bio, but you would just add that. I don't think I did that for the office because it's a multi-office and that was a bit confusing. But that's out of the gate. So you basically have this entire website. If you didn't like the header that's there, you just come over here, you click on it, and you upload your own. Or you could do a search. They have a ton of great searches. I just always come down to 100. They'll have a bunch of different searches that you could use.
And so you can keyword search, right? Tell everyone how you can keyword search those photos by living room, kitchen, whatever.
Yes.
Which is
so
awesome.
If I wanted this versus, and then I just save changes. Another note is the website updates are not always live. So don't get frustrated. If you're looking at your website right after you make a change and it's not there, you did not do anything wrong. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it feels like an hour. It probably isn't, but I have squirrel brain. So it is like a long hour, but just know that's not you. It's just sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm hitting refresh. Sometimes I'm going incognito, but don't get frustrated because it's not you.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Thanks. And they're getting questions right now about links to some of these examples. Yes, we'll make sure to include these best practices links in the follow-up email to those of you.
And the link that Dan shared earlier goes to, has a page to like frequent, my tutorial videos, and I have examples and stuff like that as well. Or if not, I will add them. I have a bunch of different website examples, and I know in the tech group, people are constantly asking, and there's a bunch of threads on that as well.
Right.
Let's see.
We are getting questions.
Another one.
Yeah, we're getting questions on the multi-office website, and Heather's the perfect person to ask about this. And there's still some unknowns, and there's not a lot of videos out there on, particularly on multi-office, because there's still some enhancements to come. But when it comes to designing the multi-office websites, here's one of the questions we got. Do you use one website for the multiple offices? We have 2 offices with 1 domain, can't get both addresses on the footer and all the agents on the one site. So would you like to address that, how you took care of Remax?
Yes, and I probably haven't even looked at the footer. I have 5 offices, same issues. There is a way where you can link, because when you go to your offices, it should have the map to each different office. If you wanted to go to your roster, so here's an office, they have 2, And what we did is we just added a link. So here's the 2 different offices. We grabbed the link for the roster when you go to that map and it has like view roster. So that's what we did. So if you click here, you're going to get the Palm City agents. And if you click over here, you're going to get the roster for the other office, because as a whole, I don't know. And again, they're constantly updating this part.
Right.
So what maybe, I know that it's something that we've all said different things about. I know for me, I wasn't able to use the multi-office when I realized I couldn't set up my lead pods. Like, I don't want to have to do, we don't have an ISA, like just round robin them to my agents.
Right.
But I could not set up a lead pod for only one office.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was like, well, that's not very fair. So that's why right now, until they can fix that part, we can't use that, because we run a lot of money on, pay-per-clicks and stuff. So we can't use that for that purpose. This office, they've never, they don't run a lot of ads and stuff like that. So their agents aren't used to being fed leads or anything like that. So they were completely fine. I don't think their other website gave out 1 lead. So I'm like, well, that'll change. But
right. No, that's good. Those agent roster links, do those go directly back to they're linked to a page on the office site, correct? Because if you go to remax.com, you could end up losing that client. They could end up somewhere else,
this is on their page. So when you come over and you look at your offices, so what we did is we have the 2 different, like you have our offices, we have Stewart and Palm City.
Right.
So we just grabbed those, and it's just basically, that's on your menu. It should be automatically on the multi-site office menu. So it'll have the different offices or our offices, and then there's links for which one. So this one's for like their Palm City with a picture, and it has a roster for that office, those agents in that office. And the same with this one is their Stewart. So that'll bring you to the other office. And that's all you can see here. That's still all on their website.
Mm-hmm.
We just tried to make it easy on the homepage to easily be able to find the agents from the homepage. So we just made little boxes. Those are just little image graphics, and we just linked them over to the page that's already on the menu bar, but just to make it easier.
And that's image text, everyone, in case you're wondering which block that is. It's called image text. That's it.
And I think these blocks are constantly changing, so don't get used to one name. And
I know, I noticed that. So like I keep wanting to do quick little hit videos, and I'm just thinking it's going to be obsolete tomorrow. So
I'm sure a lot of mine, and it's funny because even when they do an update, it doesn't change.
Right.
Any old. So I have the generic blocks from the first release of the sites, and it's kind of funny. But whenever I see there's new icons, I get super excited because I know enhancements have been done. So I just end up staying like, oh, we're grabbing my coffee. It's an all-nighter. I get to play with what's going on, and the little things.
Good. No, I appreciate it. I see questions coming in. I'm trying to keep an eye on those. Heather has some incredible sites to show you, so we're going to let her keep rolling, and I will keep an eye on those, and we'll make sure we have time before we wrap up to answer those. So thanks.
Absolutely. This is the one that has the search bar in the middle. So it's not the slideshow. You'll see that the graphic is darkened, but it's really so that that search bar pops out at you. So that's where the big difference is. So as you're thinking of what is the purpose of your website, if you are looking to have consumers do searches on your website, this bar pops out at you. So there's no question, what am I supposed to be doing? That's that first half. Again, we added the circles, but what we did is we customized those. So as you can see, we have different area photos of houses in her specific area. We added some stickers. I think we did this from Photify, maybe. So we just kind of did those in Photify, and that's what we're using to go inside one of the circles. Right. So customize this so that it goes with, especially if you're the circles that I have, I would use the template. Put in one of your old listings, because that's going to resonate with people, especially if they're local to your area. Obviously, I'm not going to put a Florida beach house with palm trees for an agent in, you know, Pennsylvania, where it's, you know, probably has snow a lot of the time. So make sure that it's, you know, for your area, and only, you know, I wouldn't know what a lot of houses may look like, but I like to customize these. This one, because she's a miracle agent, so we made sure to use like a sign that's in your background, Michelle.
Yes, exactly.
So just like that, but we just threw her name on it. Yeah. So this is her featured listings. This is the agent, heavy listing agent, but I realized her, you know, the top dollar listings weren't showing because she had 9 other properties, most of them pending, blah, blah, blah. So what I did is, you know, as you can see, there is one pending because I didn't want it to be only the active. I want to make sure if she does have pending, because, you know, I want to make sure that people know she is. So I have it, you know, by highest listing first right now, but you can change that at any time. So you could make it only show your actives or only show whatever. You can have your office. If you don't have any listings, put your office. It allows you to pick by agents. So if you work with agents in your office, you are an official team, but you know, you are friendly and everybody agrees, showcase theirs. It's all IDX. So, you know, it allows you to pick by which agents listings do you want to show up on there. As well as if you're a team, you can put like all listings for the MLS, my office listings, only my listings, my teams, or pick by agent. And it allows you to type in multiple agent names. So there's a lot of different ways that you can think of for whatever, you know, whatever you do. So have fun playing with that save search. And that's at the very, very, very bottom left side.
And that's relatively new, everyone.
Last week new.
I was going to say, is it even a week old at this point? So no, that's good. This is so cool. I love all this. By the way, as you can see, everyone, a lot of you, I've had conversations with some of you about this. Some of you do work very closely with builders, and this is a great way to showcase your new construction business.
Yes. And so like this agent, she is heavily new construction. So that's what we went ahead and do is I just put in the year. So I still need to tweak that by area because I think a lot of this is pulling, because I think I just put all, but maybe I need to put in like Pittsburgh or something like that. But right. She is heavily into new construction, so that I was playing with it. I think this was one of the first ones I was trying to do. But yeah, so if you work heavily with new construction, this is a great way to do. If you work with, I mean, there's so many different things that you could add on. So that's where I wanted to show that. Another brand new feature is this full width. And I know there was many different ideas when we did our live on Tuesday in the tech group about the websites. So what Tavia did is she has a page that's for all school districts, and that's what she did. Excuse me, she has a picture of the school, and then it has the school district, and that just gets layered, and you're able to change what color faded it is and which side this goes on. So what I do love is all the graphics, when you're adding them in, it needs a title, a description. If you want it to link out to something, it has to have text, and then what's the link. So that's what all of your text. This one is full width, but it actually puts in that little cute button inside of the graphic. And as you can see, you can put in a photo, but you can also put in a little icon or a little logo. So that's what we did here, just playing with it again. And that way that will take you over to my app page, which that's important too. That needs to be on your email signature. Click download my app, make sure it's linking over to your apps so people can download it, customized to you. So that's hugely important. I would make sure that is in all of your signatures. Another thing that you could do, like with LinkedIn, you're only allowed to have so many, or not at LinkedIn, but Instagram. You get one link in your profile. So what I use, and I use the Remax URL shortener. Let's see if I can remember this because I just set this up.
They are very limited on hyperlinks. I tried to do it the other day.
Well, you get one and there's no hyperlink in there. So you're always having to put link in bio. But if it's a blog or a property or whatever, I mean, that's where it gets a little hard. So Linktree is free. but this also, I paid for this because I had never paid just to see what it was. This allows you to have multiple links. It's perfect for Instagram, but you could also do like a QR code for a sign writer. You know, scan this for more information. It's not like you need all these, you used to have to download apps. Now it's just your camera. It's awesome. So we have like a generic QR code that will go to this. So that way they can click on what property are they at. So every one of her active listings will have their own link. It's going back to her, that property on her website. So these are just different ways that you can make sure that you're linking back to your website and using it as your portal for everything. I mean,
that's cool. I like that.
So many different things, but I mean, here you have like website, get my mobile app. It just depends on where they're at. And then of course, all of her social links are down there. This was with the paid version, but you can still do all the links. That's all for free. You'll just have the little link tree. With the paid version, I was able to get, have my own background, but I've never paid for it. We were trying to do some unique stuff. So I was like, oh, $5, let me try it.
Sure.
Okay, I like it. Sold. We're good.
I like it a lot. That's fantastic.
And it looks great on a mobile app because of course it's not like full width, but it's just another way that you can be driving that traffic back, helping consumers. You just want to make it as easy as possible for consumers to find all of the information, whether, your website, your app, any of your properties, a blog, any of that kind of stuff. We're in an instant world. So we want instant gratification. So to me, it's, if you make somebody search too long, you're done, attention over, next.
It has to be easy and quick.
Yes. And it's, what is it? You have 20 seconds to capture someone's attention, or I don't know. So don't make people work to find your information. So that's why it's like, put it everywhere. So
good advice for sure. So you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but for those that don't want to do their own site, and I think there's probably a good number of them on here that are going, oh, I want to do this, but I don't have time. So when it comes to outsourcing, or if they want to look for someone outside, whether it's yourself or someone else, what advice do you give them on what to look for in, say, a website designer or vendor?
This is a little different. So if you were to try to get a website designer, they probably would not want to do this because it's not like HTML, CSS. It's not all of the fancy stuff that a web developer. Right. I mean, if you have a teenager, they could probably do it. It's drag and drop, just doing the images from the templates. Right. It's really about having patience. I mean, I can do it in my sleep because I've done so many. That's why when all of this craziness around the world happened, I mean, I was all about just kind of sharing videos, and I was like, I'm kind of stuck in the house. I'll do some, and I'm having so much fun learning and stuff like that. But that's why I have all the tutorials for those do-it-yourselfers. And of course, I also do some, I'll do it for them. And it's all the information's on the Social Marketing Nut. And I also have an RU under the Coach's Corner. My website's under there.
Good.
So
good. Let's take a look at some of the questions really quick. So I think, let's see. We would like the multiple photos used for the landing page of the social media header to automatically scroll. Let me think about that for a minute.
No, I would too.
Yeah.
That is when it comes to, where's this? This ideas. So I guess I need to change that to sub.
I bet you get a lot of votes in that particular things.
Yes. So this ideas.remax.com. I'm going to put this. Oh, I don't know where my chat box went. It's somewhere. Ideas.remax.com. When you go in here, definitely, because so many ideas have been put in there.
Right.
Look for ideas. This is where all of the ideas need to be put in or voted on. So definitely having the automatic slideshow for sure. I know that's one of the first ones I probably put in there. So this is not just for Booj. This is basically all of the products. So you'd want to come over to Booj, and there's 120 ideas on there, and they try to consolidate if you don't actually read through, but we want to be able to vote. So if you agree with something, we want to vote it up because that's what they're looking for. And that's what I've seen from alpha, beta into now is, you know, before we had that ideas portal, the little question mark, submit feedback. Now we have this ideas. It's brand new. I know Jeremy and I, we got to kind of test it out before the soft launch was, we put it in our groups, and now they just sent that out, I think, in an email or whatnot. So it's still fairly new, but this helps. The more we vote something up, the more they realize, okay, this is what we need to kind of focus on. And they've done a phenomenal job. I mean, there's so much that we can do. And I probably love that the most, that, you know, we acquired. I mean, we are Booj. So it's like our product, and our voices have completely been heard in everything that they are developing and working on. And this is where you need to submit your ideas, make sure it's in there, vote them up if they're already in there, so that your voice is heard, because that's what they're working on. And that's what I love most. Anytime we've had another platform, if we wanted something, it's like, nope, it is what it is. You know, this is Booj. This is us.
It's so, you have a voice. You're absolutely right. That's awesome.
And from somebody who's been from the beginning, I see all of these changes the last 10 months. I mean, and it's great. And I mean, we get to kind of perfect it ourselves. I mean, those that were in alpha can totally, I mean, they've seen that as well, just the layouts and just everything about it. But
no, definitely. A couple more things. So Gary's just saying that he thinks all the Remax tools are impressive. He's not technically minded. He's kind of overwhelmed. So that's where it may be a good time for you to think about either outsourcing or keeping it simple, like Heather suggested with out of the box. He does say the good news is I'm juggling 4 deals right now. So congrats, Gary, to you. And you know what? That's where your focus should be. That's why you can just publish your website and it's good to go. And you don't have to go through all of this, but your focus should definitely be on your real estate business. We don't expect you to be web designers or developers. You have help for that in videos, and or you can just keep it simple. So thanks. The automated home value site. So some of you that don't know about this tool, it exists on remax.com. It exists on every office, team, and agent website. This is the ability to type in any address of any property, and you get, what you get back are estimates, and I've used that term loosely, from 3 different sources. So you have ePraisals, you have SmartZip, you have Zillow. So you have 3 different sources that will pull back a sort of a estimated value, and it gives you quite a range in some cases. But this is located on each and every one of your websites. So agent, remax.com, office, team, Booj sites will have this. Now, the one thing I know that personally I've asked them for is lead capture on that page, because anyone can use that tool for free.
Vote it up. It's in there for sure.
Yes, I think that's one of the things I put on there. But yeah, so like, and right now they can use the tool and then leave. So that doesn't help us to capture seller leads. So that's something that's coming. So thanks, Heather. The other thing is, so Dallas is at, by the way, hi Dallas, you're always on our webinars and I really appreciate you being on here and your support. Where can we pick or switch featured listings? And then he's asking about the homepage. Could you explain that, how the featured listing block could be used on any page? And
absolutely. When you're on any page, so I may be on the home page, but everything will look the same as you're building the page out. You just go add block. All of these blocks, these elements are available when you're building out any page. So if you have the seller's page or buyer's page, add that, add your listings or add a featured search on the very bottom or wherever you want it. You can add all of these blocks to every single page. So for every page, I would go and make sure that there's a contact me, so that there's kind of like a little call to action. You could have your bio, you could have your reviews, you could do anything you want. Once social is there, I may add that to many of the pages. These are on all of them. So even out of the box, you have a ton of content that's already there for Remax. Just you add on. So if you wanted the featured full width, or that's the graphic, go over here to save search, or you can come over and let's see, that would be the blog that's on there. Here's your featured listings. And then that would just be your listings. You don't do anything, like it's already there. So that's all you have to do is just click featured listings and it's all there. I just click save and it's going to be on the very bottom. So now I can see in the preview that it's all the way at the bottom. I have my contact form, listings. Maybe I want to put that here versus, you know, that way it's here and then you have the social and the contact. But that's the great thing is as you're building, it's super easy. No, I want that up here. No, I like that down there. I mean, it's just a drag and drop. And another thing to think about as you start playing with the CRM, because I know Jeremy did, I mean, he's so, I mean, I really haven't played with the CRM since alpha. So I learned a lot last week.
Last week, yeah, I did too.
Our live and you're live. The great thing and why I would encourage anybody, even if it's out of the box, to get to understand this is because as you're building emails, everything looks the same. So once you are comfortable with the website or even doing an email inside of the Booj CRM, it'll start to click because that was I think that was purposeful for Booj to make everything uniform. So right. It's the exact same thing when you are building an email inside of your Booj. It's basically a drag and drop. The elements look the same. So once you learn one, it's not like you're having, oh, well, I do this website, I'm on WordPress, and then I go over here, I'm on Constant Contact or MailChimp. It's two completely separate. Booj is all the same. It looks very the same. So as soon as you get to understand one, it's not like you're having to learn in a completely new profile and everything talks to each other. So that's
yes.
So crucial. I would much rather teach and do a Zoom call and baby step them through building their own website so that they can understand it and grasp it and get comfortable to build out those pages themselves. Of course, I'm here to build beautiful sites because it's just fun for me. And I'm always telling my agents, work on income producing activities and know when to delegate. So I get it.
That's the great advice. Everyone, I know we're at the top of the hour, in fact, a couple minutes over, so we appreciate you hanging with us. It looks like we just have a couple more comments. So we're prepared to stay on for a little bit longer. One of the questions I see that just came up, and this is something I would love to see. Right now, there's not a way to hyperlink an image on the website. It's something that I know everyone wants. So it's out there, it's been requested. If you want to request it again on the ideas portal, please do so. So here's another.
Vote it up.
Yes, vote it up. Steve is asking, does the website send out daily email updates to clients who set up a search? So
that is more, I think they get to set that up because I think I was getting daily updates when I was testing myself.
Right. And coming soon in the CRM, you'll have the ability to set up a search for them. It's just not there. That'll be located under the user activity of each contact record. And it'll be, so we had that in Lead Street before, so it's going to be more robust and you'll have that ability to do that. Right now, the consumer has to set up their own search. You can view their saved searches, but
I think that's coming very soon.
It is, yeah. It should be in the next 2-3 weeks by the end of June. That'll be great. And so someone's asking, so before Heather, we had Playster as an INTEGRA region. How do I upload the pages I have on my old Playster site? Well, you can't do them apples to apples, oranges to oranges. There is an ability to export your content, but it goes in what's called a TXT file, which you have to transfer over in a copy and paste format. So it's not going to be you can't take the exact pages and then put it exactly onto Booj. They are two separate platforms.
Copy and paste.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it's, you know, if you have different interior pages, you know, how is it built? And you just kind of copy and paste. If it's text, if you have a photo, make sure to save that photo. I mean, before you cancel the Playster, I have 2 screens. That makes it a lot easier. I can have one because that was Tracy. She had the Playster. So we just kind of took any content she had, moved it over. And, you know, every platform you work on is going to be a little different. So it's just a matter of manipulating each page you've built into how we can actually do that. But the content itself, you can just copy and paste it over before canceling that.
Definitely. A couple last minute things and we'll wrap up. So it looks like your email is going to blow up because everyone wants some guidance and perhaps some assistance. So everyone, it's heatherholliday@remax.net. That's 2 L's in holiday. So once again, heatherholliday@remax.net. Please reach out to her and she'll be glad to assist you and tell you a little bit more about her services as well. And looks like, so Greg from Milwaukee is asking, would it be possible to add a web page counter? Okay, Greg, now you're getting really advanced on us. So I don't think most of the audience will know what that means, but again, put it in the ideas portal and see if you can get some interest or get people to bite. It's kind of like fishing for sure.
Yeah,
But
there's no widgets available, so you can't have that. However, you know, anytime that you're looking, whether it's a search or anything like that, since we can't add the analytics right now, I use that Remax URL shortener for any page or anything that you're looking to be able to kind of keep track of click-throughs. If you use, you know, it's the same as Bitly. I just like the Remax URL shortener. If it's a search, you can go in rem.ax city. And
right.
not only that is now you can put that over on your social, search, you know, hot new listings in, you know, XYZ, you have a graphic, and then it's going to rem.ax/city, which is going to a page within your website. And it's able to keep track of those links. So I use Remax URL shortener for everything.
Yeah, that's great. And you can set up any website on Google Analytics. So Greg's asking about Google Pixels, again, more advanced, but yeah, those kind of things have been discussed and they are coming down the road, or more back-end features and analytics on the websites. And when we get to, in the ideal world, we're going to get to a place where you will be able to see the number of visitors, you'll be able to see the all sorts of tracking. But right now they're prioritizing other things like campaigns and other things that are happening. So looks like just another last minute question on featured listings. Are you able to change top 6 listings of featured listings? Are they bound to your own listings? For example, if another agent in our office has a great listing, like you, let's say that an agent wants to feature, I don't believe it's that micro level where you can pick and choose one individual listing here and there. I haven't played around with it enough. Do you know
I
how
don't think that we can choose.
you can
I
either
mean,
do
you can
like,
pick
it's
an
kind of like
agent
an
out
all or
of
none
all
thing,
of
isn't it?
theirs.
Yeah.
But if I go down to saved search, so I can put in a city if I or not. So here's where kind of like the keywords, the choices that I have, price range, keywords. I'm still playing with that. That's really gonna, I think you'll know more of the keywords, how your MLS, maybe the IDX feed
Right.
for the keywords. But here's where you have like all new listings, blah, blah, blah. I always uncheck the pending, but here's all listings, agents. So you
Right.
can type in an agent, but I don't think it's going to pull in one. I mean, you probably wouldn't want only one listing to show unless, because when you're doing the safe search, it's going to be kind of like either a grid or a slideshow of like 5 listings that go across.
Mm-hmm.
So can't quite put in MLS numbers, but this is a huge start and a huge win. Maybe if it's your office listings and it's in a certain price range,
Right.
maybe that's how you could do it, because it's still IDX. You can do whatever you want, but that's probably what I would recommend, is maybe having a price range. So
Mm-hmm.
that way any of your office listings that hit that criteria will show up as far as those featured listings go, if that
Right.
agent's within
And
your
if you're a
office.
brand new agent and you've partnered up with to help with leads and with another seasoned agent in your office, you know, maybe ask them if you could feature their listings on your page as well. So
And this
that
is IDX, so you don't really need permission. I just know when it's our agent, like, I don't know. If I'm going to only show one agent's in my office listings, I probably would want to have permission to do
sure,
that. But
just a courtesy. So just let's see, let me just double check the chat box. I think we're about ready to wrap up here. Let's see what's going on in chat. Got the Q&A. All right, we're good there. Just something that just came up. So Michael, thanks. Michael's asking, you know, about what if I want to try to be funny on my website and use humor or things like that. You know, obviously we're always going to caution you on that. Just because you might think something is funny, you never know when it could offend someone. You just don't know. So I would steer clear of that, is my advice to you. Obviously, it's your site. You can do what you want. It's your business. But I would just be really mindful of that and just try to keep everything pretty straightforward to avoid that. I'm looking out for your best interest, Michael. And even if you're the funniest person on earth, you just never know what's going to happen.
I
So
just always try to think of the word mindful, you
yeah,
know, but again, it's just like your social. If that's what you post on social, you're going to end up attracting that. And,
right.
you know, but
Yeah.
it may be a turn off for some, but it may be a turn on for others. I mean, the website's kind of like more of a generic because it's, unless you have a lot of video, it's not really showcasing like who you are. I mean, it'll represent as much as you put into it, but
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand where you want to go with this. I mean, I will say this though, that animal videos and fun things like that, obviously, again, just something cute, you can't go wrong there with puppies or something like that. So maybe instead of being funny, just kind of an aw moment or something like that might be better. So I would steer clear of memes or anything like that. But I get what you're saying, Michael. Even if that's your personality, just be careful. That's all. All right. So it looks like we are ready to wrap up. So Heather, let's take it home. What are some final words of advice to everyone on the Booj websites and either getting started or continuing maintenance of those?
I mean, just to me, it's make it your own. Add that localized header. I mean, you're basically out of the box. Have a beautiful website, personalize it, make it yours. I have the templates, I have videos. So, I mean, anything. And of course, we have the group. So if you have any questions, there are so many of us and we are 100% willing to help. If you're having a little bug, it's probably not you. Don't get frustrated. Worry about the gray hairs because believe me, been there, done that. Take it lightly, but there is so much that you can do with it out of the box. But I would say at least that header, personalize it, kind of make it your own, and then just build on it. Google likes to see things being built on. So don't just set it and go, never touch it again. You know, I'm all about time management. So it's maybe 15 minutes every Tuesday. You just, maybe write something about a city or just do something on your website just to add content. Eventually it'll, just be something you're super proud of and can't wait to share it. But I mean,
Well,
baby steps.
yes. Well, thank you so much, Heather. Everyone, virtually give Heather Holiday a big round of applause. Thank you for your time. I know you're in huge demand right now from everyone in the network, but most importantly, your own brokerage. And we appreciate that. Have a wonderful trip to Florida, Heather, and everyone have a safe, happy, and healthy Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you next week for the next session. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.